Hey, good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Thanks for joining us. If anybody has joined us yet, I haven't even went to the chat room. But good morning. So we're going to try something new today, and maybe the next day, and maybe the day after that. But due to some of my lack of time and efforts elsewhere, I've wanted to mix things up, and I never got a time around to even do a video to say that I was going to do this. That's how, I guess, backwards it's been. So thanks for joining us. Or if you join us later, thanks for checking in. Hope you get something out of this. But so we're just going to do a different format here with the chat. I'm going to go through some of the news highlights, not focusing on the political, but the impactful, I would say, and what's going on in the world and how it affects you and me. Probably what I'm most worried about. Can apply it. And then we'll go from there. See if I got any inserts from the chat room and see if anybody has anything I may have missed or anything under the radar. But I did want to start off with something I saw right before I went to bed last night, and that's on the financial side. Obviously, we had the high point yesterday of the Dow going over above 25,000. And now last night there was all the crypto exchanges were crashed hard. Here you can see Bitcoin dropped to below 10,000, as well as many of them. And I think this is a big warning sign for Bitcoin, because you got to think if all the little guys got out, excellent. If all the big guys are the guys dropping it, that's more worrisome, because who's going to get back in? Now it's going to be a traded market, just a manipulated traded market, much like the paper markets are for commodities. How does it recover from this? What does that really mean? I mean, people are predicting Bitcoin to go over 100,000 dollars per Bitcoin. Who's going to get in at this point? Like, why would the ever little guy get in? Just because, but that's what people's mentality is. They buy the dip, right? That's the stock philosophy, or the trading philosophy: buy the dip, sell the tie, all that good stuff. Will that work out for the little guy here, though, with Bitcoin? All the big traders can get in it and make millions of dollars off of small moves. If it goes between 20 and 25,000, the little guy doesn't benefit much from that. You're using if you're using Bitcoin for the use of the currency, this is very troubling information, I think, and a sign of the times. But scroll back up real quick to the the more immediate. The Dow is back up this morning after dropping yesterday. After topping above 25,000, it hit a ceiling real quick, bounced down, and now we're back up. And I'm going to pause here for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. So that's on the financial side more so. Do a quick peek. Some of the other indicators. If anybody's noticed, oil's been crazy high, $63. And now they're worried about a correction. Oh, of course they're worried. But if you guys notice the gas prices, having $2.75 gas in the winter does not bode well for the summertime, if you know what I'm saying. So places could be seeing $4 gas, probably in California, $5 gas again this summer if this doesn't self somehow. Gold and silver, of course, are being smashed down. Interestingly, the copper and palladium. Copper was been about $3 now for a while, which is a sign that of high demand in the industrial area primarily. If you're looking for any of your individual stocks, you probably have to go look it up yourself. You'll need more than you think to retire. I'll tell you that much. If you retire at all, if you're like most of us, you'll never retire. And that's kind of on the financial CNBC side. Over in the news, obviously, the president's comments got most of the play this weekend, but I did want to touch on, back up a little bit and did touch on the Hawaii issue. Unless you're under a rock, you know that Hawaii had a accidental go out for an impending ballistic missile attack into Hawaii. And that got rolled around. It took them 40 minutes to figure out it went out and then tell everybody, hey, don't worry about it. It's a false alarm. It's a mistake. And then they come out, I believe it was Monday, and said that it was an accident. Understanding how those things work, those messages don't, it's the possible chances of that being an accidental issue are almost nil because of the way those things operate. You have to go through a series of functions to get to a message like that and to create it usually, or go through a menu to actually lean on your keyboard. You know, it's like there's a big red button. It's in a computer somewhere, probably in a web-based program, probably, which leads my next point. It could have been a hack. That's possible. But then yesterday they come out with the Japanese had their own false alarm. That's suspicious. And Backcountry Preps and the Fourth Dimension had been bouncing this around during the weekend about it being a manipulated event somehow, and people trying to gain data off of it, or to kind of beta test it. And this Japanese revelation says something is definitely awry. It's to either heighten the anxiety among the public or something. Definitely doesn't make sense. So just wanted to comment on that. And I don't know if Fourth Dimension and Backcountry ever got to their final observation, but it definitely had some good theories going. But it's definitely not accidental. Maybe the guy just wanted attention from his mom and decided to send out the alert. Maybe it was a hacker. Maybe it's some inside deal where they're trying to put fear in the public. I don't know, but that was definitely suspicious. I would not pass it off as some untrained employee, that's for sure. Unfortunately, Drudge has up here on his headliner, he broke the Clinton story. That's when Drudge really took off. It's hard to believe it seems like a lifetime ago almost, but it's only been 20 years. But that's when Drudge really hit the big time, and everybody blames him for bad journalism and stuff when he revealed certain improprieties. But it's not necessarily always interesting news on Drudge anymore. Found some random, just like useless news on here too. So you got to be really sift through it. And usually the good stuff's down here somewhere. Sheriff's deputy charged with drug trafficking. What are the odds? But browsing that real quick. Yeah, if anybody saw this story over here, California, I don't know why it's in the Sun. This should be in a U.S. paper somewhere. That's weird that the British paper's the one linked to. They're probably a little more sensational. But kids found in the house chained up. That was just, you never know your neighbors, but dang, you should know your neighbors are chaining kids to the bed in their house, you would think. See if there's a local. It's the New York Post or California News on Yahoo. But yeah, it's in Paris. That's down in Southern California, outside in the what do they call that area? Over the mountain from Camp Pendleton's the way I always thought of it. Um, but it was a subdivision from the pictures I saw. It says 70 miles east of Los Angeles, which if you go down the 91 across to the 15, I think over in that area, Riverside County. And I guess they were all their kids. 12 siblings. The parents were 57 and 49. Strange days, my friends. Strange days. See if we're still going live. All right. Nobody cares about Oprah for president, right? Because that's a big distraction. We know. I don't see how that sticks. But probably more importantly, this time of year, to the weather. It's been nice around here. We're supposed to get snow Friday, but it doesn't really matter much when you see this weather coming in for you people on the East Coast. I'm sure you guys are prepared, right? I've been seeing video after video from Mississippi to Maine. Everybody out there showing their snow videos, and people being iced in. And you see that a couple of videos of the interstate and the just collisions. The one on the interstate with just car after car running into each other as they can't see far enough ahead, going too fast, all that good stuff, and just a big pileup ensues. But the rest of us are living pretty large as far as without hindrance. We need the snow bad out here. Please send us some your way. Or please send some of your snow our way, I should say. But hopefully we get some this Friday and Saturday and start picking up the pace for this winter, because we can't make it without quite a bit more snow this for the spring and summer. And there's maybe a better picture of that. You see the west is all clear. We get a little bit of moisture up here in the Pacific Northwest, which isn't never not moist up there. So that's the weather. And usually I browse over to Twitter and just see what's bouncing around on the urgent side, if there's anything in the 911 or the messages, to see if there's anything that's bouncing around or trending, or what is trending. This is bouncing around. We'll get to this in a little bit, the YouTube thing. Stupid questions are Vegas. Okay, the new California issue is trending on Twitter. And if you are out west, you probably didn't see this, but a resolution is being put forward for a new California. So this is separate from the State of Jefferson movement, which is more original and more, what'd you say, groundswell based. I'm not sure where the backing for this new California movement comes from, but obviously if you see in the blue there, separates the rural county, what they call the rural counties, but interestingly, they include San Diego County for some reason, and all the coastal areas in yellow to stay as California. Here's a little better, and here they reverse the colors. So why are you doing that? Why are you reversing colors when the original map was one way and now somebody else USA Today has to change it? It looks like, to make it fit their mold. But if you're trying to get the rural counties away from the cities, why are you including San Diego and also Orange County here? Do they want to share a border with Mexico? You really want to do that? These are high urban population areas. I don't know why they would include them other than a monetary base and a port. But you can turn Eureka into a port if you've got enough, all this coastal lumber work and everything else up there in the north. They could easily turn Eureka and some of those other areas back into or modernize their ports. I mean, they used to be ports way back when the Russians were up there. But interesting movement. I don't know if it's how much of a groundswell it is when you have the State of Jefferson movement. Obviously, the State of Jefferson would take a large portion of production away from California, and leave the rest to suffer. I would think that these states here along the Sierra Crest would be more wise to join for these guys up here to include San Diego and Riverside County, whatnot, especially as far as culture and just common interests. So that's an interesting story. They're saying it's an 18-month process that they're trying to do to secede from them, and we'll see what happens. I would say most of the people in California don't think it'll happen. We got Wednesday Wisdom, Petty White trending, and Curry trending. North Carolina weather, maybe. NCWX trending. Probably for that storm we were just talking about. Atlanta snow is also trending. So everybody is buying their milk and bread back down there. And a little bit of snow falling, it looks like, this last evening. Raleigh, so I'm sure you all are prepared for that. So no worries. So kind of a slow news day so far, watching the markets and watching what goes on out east in that weather, really. Let me go into the chat room here, see who's joined us. We're about halfway through. I didn't want to go more than 30 minutes. So, wow. Where'd y'all come from? Good morning, Angel. Walker Outdoors, M Long 51, Saints and Sappers is awake and alive and running PT probably. Ruby Tuesday. Thanks for joining us, people. And Broseph Russell. Hey, how you doing? Looks like you guys are just commenting on that story out of Paris there. That's relatively close to you, right, Broseph? I mean, within driving distance, I believe. But definitely crazy. Barry Wood has joined us just now, and good morning. So I didn't see any questions out there or anything pointed. Bitcoin crashing. I'm long. I don't know if it's a crash, but it's definitely showing how manipulated in the market. It's just another investor's market to, I guess you could say money laundering, or just to get rich quick, because all the big money is either bouncing in and out and trading it, or there's not enough little guys to get in it to make a difference, I don't think. My opinion. I don't see why you would go into one electronic currency when you already have the dollar and all the other central bank currencies that are electronic as well, except for the anonymity of the whole thing, which they're going to be able to track anyway once they get a hold of the ledger. That's the thing on the Bitcoin. Yeah, the California story is definitely sad and disturbing, all wrapped into one. And I think it really lets us all know we all don't know our neighbors the way we should a lot of times. Yeah, Saints, you're definitely cold from that, based on that map I just looked at. Doesn't look good for you. Doesn't look good at all. I don't know how. I mean, it's sad around here. I've been almost on the verge of wearing shorts, but in the 12 hours of darkness, it's pretty chilly. And then the sun comes out and it's like, 50 degrees, 60 degrees. It's crazy. So thanks everybody for joining us, checking in. Again, this is our first attempt at this. If I keep getting this kind of participation, I might do this every morning. But I did want to touch on, as we wrap this up, again, I'm only going to limit this to 30 minutes because I got to get out of here and get to working at 7. So that's 7. That's 0700 for you all that Habla, and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for those of you that don't. But the story came out yesterday, YouTube tightening their monetization rules. And what does that really mean? And I think it's pretty apparent. Whoa. Let's make sure you can see all this. This seems like an attempt to crush out the little guy, plain and simple. So previously you needed 10,000 subscribers. Now they're starting a subscriber amount and a view hours. So 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of view time, which initially sounds like a lot. And it is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But I did some numbers on my views, my minutes, and how that translates into hours. I'm what you call, I guess, a low view channel. I don't think I get a lot of views compared to, like, I think Tactical Tony's probably good to go. He puts out a lot of content, gets a lot of. He's at about 3,500 subscribers, and he does pretty good. But definitely the new channels are definitely gonna have a struggle, because I looked at my hours, and I'm about 300 hours short for this year if I wanted to meet this threshold. If you got to factor in too, it goes for the last year. So for the last year, I've got just under 300 hours, but that first 28 days falls off as you gain the next 30 days or whatever. So it goes to February 20th on this. So I got to make up for those. So you're looking at like almost 400 hours that I would have to get in the next month to meet this criteria. And I think the key everybody misconstrues about the monetization thing, it's not about the money, but it's about the promotion and what they promote. Because YouTube does not promote your stuff and put it on the sidebar and put it on next available videos for people unless it's monetized. 99% of the time. There might be exclusions and examples of different, but for the most part, they limit that to promoted ad revenue videos. Now, here they also say, this is the real vagueness of the whole thing. In addition, closely monitor community strikes, spam, and other abuse flags to ensure they comply with our policies. As we know, they recently just accused a bunch of channels of being spam. Ridiculous stuff like that. It accused channels that were just doing what we called shout outs and have done that for years, especially on smaller channels. Shout outs for other channels. They called that spam. They shut down Lunatic Dad's original channel because they called it spam when he was just doing shout out videos for supporting other channels in the community in YouTube. What people have, become calling a YouTube community, but now really what's the incentive to get involved if you're just going to be tucked away in a corner and told you sit there and play tiddlywinks and you don't really matter. That's essentially what they're doing. They're trying to tie this to Logan Paul somehow, that this has brought about this review when there's the biggest of big YouTubers are the ones that cause the problems and the little guys pay for it. It's kind of like being in the military. But yeah, I think it's just more to crush out the dissenting opinions and the viewpoints that get promoted on here. Some of your solid YouTube channels that I would sort of recommend you make sure you check out to make sure that I don't think they'll have a problem meeting this to stay active and put out good content on YouTube. But Living Gracefully is one. I'd really like to see Alicia Clegg make this to keep promotion of her stuff out there. I'm not sure where she falls in this. She gets a lot of views because just her content's really good. So definitely some channels hopefully don't get affected too much by this because they need the promotion because they're putting out good content to discuss and ideas. But that's all about still more of the suppression, I think, and they're using that as an excuse to oh, and I didn't catch this. YouTube will be interested in a 3-tier suitability. Okay. 3-tier. All right. It's kind of like the caste system in India, right? So that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. We're about 5 minutes out. Great. Right. Thanks for participating, folks. Dang, I didn't expect that much of a crowd, but hopefully some people catch it on the back end. We'll try this again tomorrow morning, 6:30, 6:30 Pacific time in the AM. I said PM a minute ago, didn't I? I'm crazy. That's how not awake I am. So we'll hope to get back to you. I don't see any other comments in the side chat. So y'all have a good day, good morning, and go out there, live free.